vision so clear, the voices unite. There's nothing to fear. Access meets opportunity. We pave the.
There's no turning back.
Alrighty then. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Speak Harmony, where we're brought to you by APAP Media. Well, we do all things media. We do the photography, we do the videography, we do movies, we do the likes. Like us, share, and just know that we are APAP Media. Alrighty, we're going to kick right off this rainy Tuesday evening, I must add. Beautiful, though. Beautiful. You know, it's beautiful. It's not the torrential kind of weather. You know, I mean, it's on and off. It's kind of moody, but look, I'll take it over the pollen any day. So thank you, Lord, for the showers of blessings. We have got with us today in the studio, we've got two amazing guests. And I just want to kick off by saying this lady, this little package, okay, of a lady is amazing. She is a powerhouse of transformation. She's an award-winning author. She's a mental health coach, a book doctor who fuses science, storytelling, and soulful works to ignite healing and personal breakthroughs. Originally, she's from Jamaica, the beautiful island of Jamaica, holding a PhD in biotechnology. She also tutors biology, chemistry, and physics. Who does that? I'm exhausted just reading all of that. She's the author of The Unvarnished Truth and Vanquishing Monsters, raw, courageous works tackling trauma, narcissistic abuse, and spiritual resilience. She's the author of a growing children's book series, Dr. Carla Hilton Dixon. Hello, Mr. Dixon. He's in the studio. He's right here, Doctor. He's here with this beautiful wife. So thank you for sharing her with us for this time. But we're not going to bore you anymore, guys. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to Speak Harmony, Dr. Hilton
Thank
Dixon.
you so much. A pleasure to
Nice
be here.
having you. Wow.
Dr. Hilton, sorry, I want to give you, I'm actually a Hilton as well. I know we're going to get into it.
Oh,
but I'm a
really?
Hilton yes.
Okay.
We haven't had a chat.
Wow.
What is it? But tell us about this
I'm an
journey.
I'm an honorary doctor. Hilton. Dr. Hilton. Honorary. So, wow. Tell me first of all, because I'm going to go right there. What inspired you to become a mental health coach? What was that?
Well, to be honest, it's really brokenness. I was broken. I went through a season where life stripped everything away. My marriage, my relationship with my children, my finances, my sense of worth. I actually survived 2 suicide attempts, and that was my turning point. I realized that God had spared me for a reason. I wasn't meant to just survive. I was meant to walk others through their darkness. So that's when the purpose in my pain became clear.
Man. So really, wow, yeah. How would you say that though? The purpose in your pain. How did that shape your coaching style? How did that create? I mean, this thing where you said, you know what, I want to help others to go through their pain. I want to coach them through that pain. How did that happen?
Well, after I wrote The Unvarnished Truth, where I told my entire story, basically my pain was there bare for everybody to look at, to read. I got a number of phone calls asking me about how I went through the various traumatic episodes in my life. And that led me to write the Vanquishing Monsters workbook. And then I also found that persons were they just wanted to talk to me. And it led me to think about what my purpose could really be. Because before this dramatic interruption in my life, where divorce and estrangement from children came to be, my purpose, or what I thought my purpose was to actually raise children. And that was what I enjoyed doing. Even though I had the PhD, and everything else going on, that's what I wanted to do. But I found that I had a calling to help others who have been suicidal. Because I have walked that path, I knew exactly how they felt and what would work and what would not, because I have been to many counselors and therapists, etc. I wasn't necessarily helped. It's one thing to know academically what to do, but it's another thing when you've actually been there. I could relate to persons. And that's what led me to get certification in mental health, so that I could help them by coaching them, letting them see a future-oriented, helping them to move forward.
That's so important to unpack the trauma. And for somebody coming from a personal, first-person advantage to look at things and to help people through that. I think many times, as you just said, you go to counselors or to medical professionals and they don't empathize with you, right? They don't look at the why you're experiencing this trauma or why you've gone through this and how can they help you. Sometimes it's just, this is the textbook, here's a prescription, and that is it. And I implore people to do just what you have done, is to understand more about, and understand more about trauma and unpacking the trauma in order to have people be informed and be treated and helped. Because I think a lot of times we don't have people like you who are there to help others. So I commend you for that, Dr. Hilton.
Thank you.
Now,
it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, how do you identify, though? I mean, someone, out there, because, this is what's happening. People are out there struggling with mental health illness. And, there's a stigma attached to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a stigma attached to so many different things. If you have cancer these days, it's like, what did you do and what did you eat? And yes, there are different reasons for being where you are. But how can you identify that? Or are you able? Because, with you being trained in that space, can you identify folks, or have you ever identified, for example, identified someone who's going through mental illness?
If I've identified...
Have you actually spotted? Because, you could see someone and you say, is everything okay?
Of course. I'm able to recognize some of the signs that somebody who has not been through the trauma I have been through would miss.
Yes.
This silence.
What are some of those signs? Yes.
So some of the signs would be the silence, the smile. A lot of times we wear a mask where we're always smiling.
So I did
that.
So kind of
overcompensate to make it look like all is
That's
well.
A cover-up, huh?
It is. It is a mask we wear. So we have to dig. We have to look. We have to listen as well. Active listening to the other person, hearing the words. Are they talking about the future, or are they just talking about the past? Because that's the problem with persons that are suicidal. We cannot, and I say we because I was suicidal, we cannot see a future. We are just caught up with the past and the mistakes we may or may not have made, and we're caught up with regret, and we don't see what can be a future. There is just no hope. So that was, in my case, I saw no hope. There was no future. There was no purpose in my life. if I was no longer going to be wife, no longer being mother, no longer being that, those were the roles I knew, right? And I could not imagine something else for myself. So that is where persons need to step in and help those who are in this state to forge a path forward. If they can't see it, you make it for them, even temporarily, until they can move out of that pit.
But people tend to be in denial, though, you don't think? I mean, like if I see someone depressed, for example, I suspect that they're depressed. I mean, just what I think depression is. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at them and I'm going, Sharon, is everything okay? And I'm going, oh, I'm good. I'm fine. Don't worry about me, whatever. And what I'm saying is that there's a song, and I can't remember. I think it's Smokey Robinson, the tracks of my tears. Mm-hmm. Because people say you're the life of the party because you tell a joke or two. And so they don't see what's going on with you. They just assume that, everything is well, they're doing well, they're wearing this, they're doing that, they're partying, and don't even understand. So you said the right word, mask. You're masking it. Mm-hmm. And so how do you attempt to peel away at those masks? I mean, in other words, when you see it, how do you approach someone and say, hey, what do you say to them? How do you approach them?
I think it differs according to the person, right? But in general, you have to be calm. I think calmness is very important to allow a person to open up to you, and sometimes it takes time. So you have to be patient to have these conversations with the person. If you suspect that person X might be depressed and is not saying anything about it, talk to the person. Talk to the person. Don't just go and say, I think you're depressed.
Oh, gosh.
How can I help? You want to help, and we understand that, but first try to get to know more about what's going on in that person's life. Yes. Don't just push.
No.
Right. Open the door slowly, right? And hopefully, and in most cases, they may let you in depending on your approach. And once they let you in, now you can help them with some coping strategies to get out of that dark place. That's not the only way, and it's not as easy and as simple as that, because depression may also require medical treatment. So as a mental health coach, I'm not suggesting that you not see your psychologist or your psychiatrist, because as a coach, I can't prescribe, okay? So it goes hand in hand. A psychologist generally, and therapy generally delves into past events and help you to process what has happened in the past, while my role is to help you to move forward, show you the things, the small steps to take you out of that pit that you're in.
Well, Dr. Hilton, one of the things that in our community, people say we don't seek mental health advocates. We don't seek people who can help us. It's always swept under the rug what is happening, and you just deal with it. The adages, we all go through it. So you just have to deal with it. And you're claiming you're depressed. There's always something we hear that so often in our community. How can we help people who are not, it's not just Jamaican, but in the Caribbean and in the African diaspora, that we tend to see that this is being swept under the rug, and we're not treating mental illness as something that is a prevalent thing within our society. It's being swept under the rug so many times. How do we help people come forward and talk about these things?
Well, I think it's conversations such as what we are having right now. We have been making progress, but too often mental health is still treated like a side note instead of a central issue. And as you mentioned, in some communities, especially in the Caribbean, there's still a stigma associated with it. People are not looking at it. If you have a mental health issue, it's the same as if you have a broken leg or something like that, right? But they would rather you have the broken leg. Well, it's like they can recognize,
physically, yes.
right?
You
They
can
can
see.
recognize
Yeah.
the broken leg, but they can't recognize the broken mind, right? And a lot of times we say, pray about it. But we forget that God also gives us tools. The God also provides us with the professionals and community, right? And so we are to use these tools to help the person who is mentally ill. And we need to stand by them and stick by them and not just saying just get out of it as
Get over it.
get over it.
Yeah.
Oh
That's a
yes, so
favorite
that
line.
happened, get over it, right? I mean, that's not gonna help.
You were
In
6 when
fact,
that happened. So just
get
over
over it.
How old are you now? 30, 50, 60? Oh, please.
Right. I think more education is definitely needed. We also need to, as you mentioned, you're 6 years old. We need to recognize that at 6 years old, when something traumatic happens, something really happens in your brain. It's just that we can't see it inside your brain unless they do some scan or the other. But your brain development is decelerated due to this traumatic event.
Correct.
So, something happened that caused,
Of course.
an anatomical problem,
Yes.
basically.
And you know what I've heard? I've heard this so often where we say, that happened when you were 6, okay? Now you're 60. Oh my God, really? It's 54 long years. You must have outgrown that. And I'm thinking, no, you've grown into it. Because there are people who have dealt with with depression, because I don't want to claim it. With the depression, they've dealt with the mental health illness, whatever it is, or the situation the trauma that they went through, but then they never got counseling because, again, from our background, our culture, it's like you'll grow it out. Something happened, so what? You'll just grow it out. And I'm like, this whole idea about growing it out is so ill. I think now all of a sudden, little by little, we're learning that mental health illness is a real illness. It is comparable to all the other diseases out there. It is a disease. And so there are things that are triggers, and that is what happens because that 6-year-old child, for example, got traumatized, but now they're 56, they're 60. But guess what? They never dealt with that trauma. So now they're carrying it all the way, 54 years of luggage that they've dragged all that way. That's the problem. And now people are saying, oh my God, what's going on with Sharon? What's going on with Susie? What's going on with, you know what I mean? What's that? I mean, these are the things that we have never dealt with, and it's not too late to deal with it because people say, oh, it happened so long ago, over it. No. It's shut away, like you said. It's tucked away.
Right. But
And so it will come out somehow, in relationships.
Keep doing it.
From making progress. So a lot of people, that's happened to them where they've shut it off, and then they go into a marriage, they go into a relationship, whatever it is, and there's still trauma and there are triggers. Something may just trigger that. I mean, what would you speak to? I mean, how would you speak to that? How would you say to a person, I know it happened when you were 6, whatever it was. And they're telling you, but I think it's probably that confidentiality is probably an issue to it, a lot of people. Would you say?
Definitely, that is a part of the issue. Many persons are embarrassed. They feel shame. And shame is
But
a
why?
powerful force. They feel, because as a child, when certain things, it could be sexual abuse,
Yes.
for example, they may feel that they are the ones that caused it to happen.
So it's guilt.
It's guilt, mixed with and then they're also ashamed that my father did that to me or my uncle did that to me, and and what are you going to think about that if I tell you?
Born.
Exactly. So, they keep it but at the same time, it's building up as rage too, and that could also lead to anger issues as they get older. This rage, this pent-up rage that they had wanted to probably meet
it,
out
right?
on whoever was the perpetrator. They've kept it in, and now they release it on their own children maybe, or. something else.
Or they snap on the road. They go to work and they just snap on that supervisor,
Exactly.
whoever it is, the colleague, because it's like, you know what? I can't do it at home. I can't do this. So you know what? When I get to work,
No, I don't think they think about it that way, you know.
No,
It's
no.
just, oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
just that it just
it just comes out.
releases like that, you know. It becomes part of their personality in a way because of that. So they need to learn to deal with it. When I say learn to deal with
Yes.
it, they need to talk about it. You know, that's where counseling comes in, you know, and process the emotions and learn to love themselves again. Love that little child that was abused or whatever it is that might have happened to that child.
Wow. You know, something came to my mind when we talked about even in the work, when I said in the workplace, because going to work, acting out at work, it's not not necessarily what we should do, but here it is. It's a release because you're out of the spaces that you're comfortable. You're at home, and this is where the abuse took place, or this is the space that you feel limited then. So when you get outside, oh my goodness. I mean, there are jobs that have counselors right there for you, you know, that you can talk to. Not anymore, not too much. I mean, they're taking away everything. That's probably stripped too. But there used to be, what's that called? Oh my goodness. Help me out, Doc, Keith, somebody, Mr. P. I know there's a HR, goodness gracious, what is it called? Tammy, you probably know it too. Where they have help, like people who are having
Some
issues like that.
wellness, no?
It's a wellness thing, but there are jobs that used to have that where you can go talk to someone. Goodness, I was an HR person. It's just escaping me, but it will come back. But what I'm saying is that you want to sit, but you know what? You definitely don't want to sit with your job's counselor, whoever it is that they have, because let me tell you something. As much as confidentiality is supposed to be that. We hear with the advent of social media and other stuff, secrets are not kept anymore because there are people who will, for $1,000 or $100,000 for $1 million, will spill the beans. Okay? Tammy's nodding. They will spill the beans because they says, you know what? I know something about Sharon. I know something about Dr. Hilton Dixon. I know something about this one. And before you know it, it's out there. So you have to be careful. I think it's not AARP. It's one of them, something. AEP. It's EAP, Employment Assistance Program. That's what it is.
Okay.
The EAP, where you can go and you can talk to a counselor. You know about that, Tammy. You could talk to a counselor, right? I think
Yeah,
she's
you can
frozen.
call in. Their hotlines are available.
Yes, but I don't trust
Once
them.
the hotline and
I'm not trusting them at all because I mean, so for me, if they're the companies, they're aligned to take care of the employees. There's somebody
They're working for the
employer.
Yes.
So I tell people all the time,
prevent them from people from doing that. They cannot disclose, and I understand what you're saying, but legally they cannot disclose anything else that it is, because if anything can be subpoenaed,
I think she's,
mental or medical records, then you're going to have an
of course,
issue
a
with
lawsuit.
that.
But people don't care anymore. I mean, this is where we are in this world. So that is why people are so afraid. You go to the church and you go sit with people. You know that, Carla. Church is where you said, well, let me sit with a pastor or the deacon or whatever. But they're human beings too. And so even though they're supposedly sworn to secrecy, before you know it, you hear that, all of my business is in the street. So therefore, I would say go to an independent person. Would you say? What would you suggest for someone who's considering? I'm serious. Considering they're having a problem and they want to talk about it because they've gone through this trauma, this depression, this what they consider mental health, and it may not, because there are different variations, aren't there? I mean, there's schizophrenia, there's manic depressive, there's this, there's that. They're all different variations of trauma and depression and mental illness. You want to talk to someone. Well,
I do believe that you have to find somebody that you trust.
That part.
Right? Trust is the key.
The key.
The key, right. So it may take shopping around, so to speak, shopping
That's the
around
part.
to find the correct fit. Because, it's not even just about trust as well. You must have a connection. You have to be able to connect and feel like you can open up to this person. The person is fitting to your personality.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. I mean, like it's just like pretty much like any other doctor. I mean, you go in,
Exactly.
and it's not all doctors that are created equally. I mean, you walk in and you go, "Why did I even come here?" But you're here. You're sitting across from them, but you're just not going back to the next appointment.
Right.
You're shopping. Wow. How would you say? How do you? I mean, with all the practices and the habits recommended, right? I mean, for mental illness. How would you say? I mean, how do you help clients? I mean, somebody who has chronic stress. I mean, dealing with stuff like that, burnouts. I mean, how would you recommend? What would you recommend to folks that are dealing with burnouts and chronic stress? I mean,
Well, there are a number of practices that one can employ, but most importantly is to become self-aware, to become aware of what is going on, name their emotions, right?
say that again.
Name their emotions. They must be, because sometimes we are feeling stressed and we don't exactly know why. Are we tired? Are we worried about something in particular? And what is that something in particular? Are we just hungry? Sometimes, so it could be we just need some sleep, or we need some food, or we may need to discuss something with our husband or partner, or whatever. It might be something the person said that might be upsetting you, and you need to just get it out, I believe. So become self-aware, understanding what is going on in your mind. Then it's always good to practice mindfulness. Get yourself present. Sometimes, and it happens with all of us, myself included, even now that, our minds can start to race, where we start to think about something we should have done, or we didn't do the right way, or whatever. We need to center ourselves and get back to the present moment. And we can do that easily by just breathing and watching the breath, so to speak. Yes, observing the breath. Right? And something that has helped some of my clients is the practice of gratitude, because a lot of times we don't realize until we're forced, so to speak, to write down some of the things that we are grateful for. Because there's always something to be grateful for. A cup of coffee in the morning, the sunshine, a bed to sleep in, water to drink. There's so many, many, many things to be grateful for, but sometimes we forget that.
Wow. Interesting. Wow. Gratitude. I think Tammy's frozen again. Are you? Tammy? You're there? Yeah. Let me tell you.
Yes, it's in between.
Yeah, gratitude.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's just one of those things that we have to be mindful of, our time and space, and each day is a gift. And in that gift, we have to celebrate the now and not the what if. Because if we worry about what if, then we'll be constantly struggling. And so we have to just live in the now.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what's that saying? The tomorrow's not promised. The next second is not promised.
Right.
Really. It's not promised. So we have to be grateful in the now.
Correct.
Any final words? Because there are folks watching and they want to connect with you, because the unvarnished truth, purpose in the pain, they need to know about that. But then you have another book, Dr. Carl. I mean, you're just spitting them out. I mean, you're flowing. And I mean, we're about to wrap up here. So tell the folks how they can connect with you, for one. What's your next? I mean, tell them a little, just give them a snippet of the unvarnished truth, just that little summary, and then tell them about that new book that you have coming up.
Okay, well, So they can connect with me on my website, which is www.khylton.com. Lots of ways to connect with me there.
There you go.
And yes, I see it on the screen. And the Unvarnished Truth is there, the workbook, and just released today that you're seeing on the screen.
Woo!
Just
Awesome.
released today is The
Congratulations.
Magic of God.
Wow.
And this is where, this is a very, very special book, and I know we're short of time, but it's really my testimony. It's a spiritual guide, and it's a workbook, all in one. I wrote it to show how God's presence is not just something we read about in Scripture. It's alive, it's active in our personal stories. I also connect it to history and to everyday miracles which happens every day, as we said. So the book weaves my own journey, including deep pain and loss, which ultimately has led me to find purpose. So, you'll find biblical events, a lot of scriptural quotes. You have the worksheets, you have scripture for reflection, you have a prayer at the end of each chapter. It's all encompassing, but it's there to show you that the magic of God is real.
Yes.
It's real.
Yes. It's not magic. It's real.
It's real.
So the magic of God is real. I like that. It's an oxymoron, but it's real. I like that a lot. Wow. So, Dr. Hilton, we're looking forward. I mean, what's your next? I mean, you've got the book. You've got some children's book in there, too. So you're going to have to come back and discuss that with us because, I mean, we can go on and on about the things that you've covered. Every time I look at social media, Mr. Dixon, I see your wife in her glory. She's out somewhere in front of thousands of people doing what she does best, not only looking pretty, but delivering and helping people. And we just want to say thank you so much. I mean, we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing in the space because there's so many people out there who are really hiding behind that wall of deception. Because I mean, it's you're depressed, but you don't want anyone knowing. Well, you know what? Free yourself.
Free yourself.
Free yourself.
Yes.
And I tell people, I used to say that, and I'm going to say it more. As long as God validates me, I couldn't care less. Because that's the ultimate. That's
exactly
it.
Right.
So I respect your feelings. But guess what? It's God. The magic of God.
The magic of God. Yes.
Ooh, I got chills. Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Dr. Hilton Dixon. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon because we want to talk more about what other projects you have.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Wow. Love it. Man. And welcome back to the second part of this beautiful evening. Speak Harmony. Goodness gracious, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me tell you, get ready for the second segment. We've got another amazing lineup here for you. Another person that, goodness, she needs no introduction, but I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to try to do it justice. I'm going to try to do a little bit of justice because she's such an accomplished person. I'm going to try my best to do it in 1 minute. So I just want to say, first of all, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate our next guest, the Dr. Inez Turner, on her remarkable achievements. She just received her doctorate, guys. She's a former Jamaican Olympian. So yes, she presented and she was here. She performed right here in Atlanta in 1996 in the 96 Olympics. She's an accomplished coach. She has been a transformative figure in collegiate athletics. As the head coach of the Fayetteville State University, FSU, she led the team to numerous Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association championships. This lady, she hails from the parish of Trelawney in Jamaica. She is, look, we could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm going to bring up our next guest, Dr. Ines Turner. Doc, are you there? There you are. Hello.
I'm here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Great
Wow.
to be here, guys.
Appreciate you so much. Congratulations, Doc. Look, I started to tell them because you come from way back there. I mean, where you did athletics back in Trelawney, where you're from, in Jamaica, as they say Trelawney, but I know it's Trelawney, we call it. How did you start out? I mean, are you from a family of athletes? I mean, where did that athletic, stuff come from? I mean, is it genetics? I mean, tell us more about that.
Yes, well, I told this story a lot, and I am definitely trusting God. I'll definitely put it in the book and put it together one day soon. But I am going to say we become running champions, my sisters and myself, by just doing our chores, being willing to do our chores, listening to our parents, coming from a very poor background, that drives us to do what we do best, which helps us to become running champions. Back then in Trelawney, Jamaica, we didn't have anything. A family of, I'm going to say, 5 girls, 4 live in the house. We didn't have anything. All we did was
All
our
girls.
farms and um, our the animals that we have to take care of, the cows, the donkeys, and all that stuff, the pigs, the chickens. So we become champions by doing our chores. Our chores to be trained for track and field, because if one should go back and remember, my dad used to just plant a 3 month scraps, and we would have to go water them every single morning until they come to the point where they will be, coming by themselves. And so we would just start waking up every morning. My dad would just wake us up to do our normal chores. 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:35, and will just tell us that we have our chores to do. Before that, though, for some reason, again, my dad would just tell us, "Hey, girls, that go run." You
Wow.
know, we did not argue. We did not ask why. But my sisters and myself at first were like, "Run." My dad would just say, "If you get dirt on your foot, you're good. You guys gotta be stronger than everybody else." And so we believed. Just get up and start running in the mornings, anywhere from 4 miles, sometimes 4 to 6 miles. And after that, we get so used to running. We just call it our fun run before our work. That is before our chores. After our fun runs in the hilly terrain in Trelawney, it will be where we take our buckets and go to the farm and water everything that there is, from the cabbage to callaloo to everything that needed to be watered. And after that, you're talking about acres. And after that, we would have to take our buckets and go find the cows. And after that, we would have to take our milk to our customers right before everything had to be done before 8 o'clock in the morning, because we have to reach where we all in school by 8 o'clock. And so, it becomes a story. And as I get older and older, I just start loving it, because this is what really makes my sisters and I who we are today.
Interesting. I know I would have died. I can tell you that much. I would have died at the first half mile
Not when
because
you get used to it.
no, girlfriend. I mean, you're doing it together as a team. But for us, I mean, especially us Kingstonians, we don't know how to thrive and survive like you guys. I mean, you guys, you do it just like that. I mean, running up them hills and running down the hills, feeding the cow and the goat and all the animals. Listen, so you decided, at what point did you start track and field? I mean, okay, you were running as a little girl. I mean, what age were you when you were identified? I mean, who identified your skill set? I mean, you and your sisters, because I mean, you were all athletes, right? Your father was preparing you by
Yes.
having you waking you up at 4 o'clock. Are you kidding me? I'm not a
Yes,
morning
yes,
person,
yes.
so I'd be dead because I want to sleep until 7 and
Thank
school
God
is at
for
8.
thank God for safety at those during those
Yes,
days.
yes.
But well, ever since the Lord has been guiding and teaching and caring for us, and so maybe ask the question when we start going to elementary school, all age school, where we would maybe at I would say maybe grade 1, grade 2, coming up to grade 5 is when we start definitely going to our school sports. They would have sports, in Jamaica, they have sports
Sports
day in
day.
Jamaica.
Yes.
And that's when we were this day where we just running games. They would make up names. That's where we used to have the
Okay,
um,
so I'm gonna
house,
slow you. I'm gonna
the
stop you right
Thompson
there because
house.
Doc,
Yes,
you're coming in a little choppy, and we want to make sure everybody's hearing. It's okay. So it's okay. So it's the internet that's unstable. That's fine. We just have to continue. Yeah, because we want people to hear that good story. I mean, we don't want them missing it at all. But okay, go ahead, go
no
for
doubt,
it.
no.
Yes, that's a little bit better.
Yes, so maybe at age 7 years old, up from grade 1 up to grade 9, school sports
Oh,
championship where they would have the houses. We would run against houses, so they would pick certain students from each grades and put them together and say you are in the Artie House, the Jackson House, and these were our legends, the quarry, all that stuff. And so we would just go to maybe our community where there is a nice little grass field, and then we would have those competitions. And that's from there, my grade 9 teacher used to just look at us and be like, wow, these girls got talents.
wow.
And he would start doing little difference now when it comes on to the student that look good at 4 days. He would just maybe take outside maybe once, twice a week to do sport day, where he would just send us in the community, maybe 3, 4 miles, 1.5 miles, whatever it was up the road, to go pick a leaf from a certain tree, and we would have to take it back to him to make sure that we definitely ran to that tree. And that's how we used to do our
Wow.
mileage. Also, there were days when he would send us past our house. So our house is maybe 2 miles away from school. So he would just send us, and it's a lot of hills. So that is how, without a doubt, how we become true champions, where my sisters got the opportunity to also represent Jamaica at the World Cross Country Games. And of course, I went straight up to the Olympics and, was the first of the English speaking Caribbean country to win a gold at the Commonwealth Games and all that stuff. And I paid it all. The tribute goes to, starting from my dad to my elementary school, a bit all age school, and the rest becomes history when I get the athletic scholarship to Vera Technical High School. And
So
it was just
you
no
went from
turning back
Trelawney. You went from Trelawney to Ver Technical. How did
to
that go?
Vera
Because
Tech.
I know Trelawney was not feeling you going across town. I mean, going to another, was that parish? I mean, representing them. I mean, that was
Well,
that must have been a problem right there.
I think
Did you all
Trelawney,
go?
the upper Trelawney area, and of Trelawney, and they were happy knowing that they have stars. And they know the name from they knew the name from ever since we were starting, because after those at our sports game, there's also inter-parish championship where the upper Trelawney runs with the Trelawney, and all the good athletes come together. From that, we went to the national stadium where we have
Wow.
parish championships. Remember going there without a shoe, just running barefooted and get champion girl. I didn't know what it was, but all I know, I was real happy. And that's where technical start hearing about, wow, this little girl in Trelawney by the name of As, we need to go get her. And they did.
Interesting. So let me ask you, did your sisters, I mean, where did you fall as far as age wise? I mean, where did you fall?
So
I mean, were you the
this,
oldest or were you the firstborn?
no,
I mean, where did you?
I am the third. I am the third.
And
But
how
even
many
though
superstars? How many? 4, 5?
the stars, well, become four of us was stars. All three of us got the opportunity to get scholarships to the US. The other young lady, the other sister got, she didn't, after a while, she was sent to Kingston, where you're from. Kingstonian don't do too much.
No, God.
So we got the opportunity to stay in Trelawney and take care of the cows and the
Wow.
vegetables and all that stuff. So all three of us that got to stay there become running champions and got
Oh,
full fledged scholarship to the US. And so,
really?
that's it.
So you got your father to thank
Yes,
for that.
definitely.
Your
Yes, of course, no doubt, no doubt.
your
We
father
didn't, we
saw
didn't,
it in you. I mean, he saw that
yeah.
in you. He was cultivating the champions and didn't even know
And
it.
and bigger than that, God has done something without, make something out of nothing. And I truly believe that it's a testament to what this journey of life, part of this journey of life is, because you hear about someone who does get to the highest height in certain areas. This is how we got to our highest level and found out how great we were through just getting up, doing our chores through track and field.
Okay, so we're going to switch a little bit because, I mean, gosh, we know that you came from greatness. Your dad was cultivating the greatness in you, ladies. But Hall of Famer, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, look, I've been
Uh,
tracking you ever since I met you, girlfriend. I mean, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, connecting with
when I
you,
s- mm, when I speak
connecting
about
with you.
this,
Yes.
these are the interviews that definitely just bring me goosebumps over again, because to tell my story of where I got started. And from the little poor background in Jamaica, farming late Jamaica, from Booton College School to Very Technical High School to Barton Community College to Texas State University, and no turning back. Even after my athletic years, here comes bigger picture of now my life is definitely coming together, and God has given me the opportunity and shown it is showing, keep on showing how much you can really push to the next level through hard work, dedication, and just true resilience.
So as a little girl in first grade, straight through, I mean, you're looking, I mean, talk to that little girl because I mean there are young ladies, young men, there are people out there watching who have children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews. Speak to those little children that have potential. They have the potential. I mean, they're athletes, but then they're, I don't want to say lazy, but they probably just don't have the opportunity because they don't have the terrain. They don't have cows to go chasing. They don't have hills to go up or
Mm,
down. Right? They live in an apartment building, and I don't want to say,
mm-hmm,
but concrete jungle
mm-hmm.
because they call New York
Yeah,
concrete jungle. There's nowhere for not a
sure.
lot of parks where they live. How do they train? Speak to that young child that's watching, or the
Yes.
parents, like I said, who would love to have that child practice. What do you do? You know, because you've been given opportunities, and that, like you said, just God. It's a God thing. Speak to
They
those
may
kids
not
though.
have
And
the opportunity of, they may not get that opportunity or start with the same journey that I took, that I got, that I took so seriously from then, where I get the opportunity to go feed the cows and run to the school, run back and get lunch and all that stuff. But the beauty about what's going on in sports, not just track and field, is that all the schools, most of the schools all over the world, in the US, the Jamaica, got the opportunity of joining and getting yourself on that program. You can run, you can play basketball, you can do the volleyball, you can do netball. Find yourself, get yourself, I would say to the parents, first and foremost, get your children, get your youngsters in some type of sports. Because little do you know what that sport team is going to, what is going to get come out of them. It could be sitting inside. And greatness comes from giving them that opportunity to socialize, to get the opportunity to push their body to the next level, to get that club coach in your community, to watch them get find some little time to go watch them do some training, but give them the opportunity, let them join some type of program, because what it's going to do, even if they don't become the Olympian and get to the next level, like the world, the circuits, being professional athletes, what I know that it will do is sustain them for life.
yes,
And this life needs sustainability. It needs mental toughness. It needs physical toughness. It definitely will help them, that rigorous training, that discipline, that tasping, that up a bit early in the morning or going to practice after class, and to help them to grow like that. You're already giving them life.
yes, discipline. And I hear that key word right there, because a lot of young ladies, again, young men, and parents alike are watching this right now, and they're saying, you know what, you're an inspiration. I mean, just the way you give hope, I mean, about to these young people, to these young folks. I mean, it's amazing, because here it is as a Hall of Famer, and I keep mentioning that because I'm so proud of you, by the way, and I want to say congrats once more.
Thank you so
Congratulations,
very much.
because you are
Thank
such
you.
a,
Thank you.
you're welcome, my dear. You are such a humble soul. I mean, you're not out there bragging and boasting. I mean, when I look at all your accomplishments, I mean, it would take us days to go through it, literally. I mean, the Bickle, what's that? That
Team Jamaica Biko
Jamaica
Award.
Bickle, that's
Uh,
right, the award. I mean, we looked at all the awards that you've received, but nothing got to your head. You still remain who you are, and to bring you to this place. I mean, putting you in a space where you are considered the Hall of Famer. That's a big deal. Break that down a little bit. How did that
break it
feel? I mean, when
down.
they reached out to you and told you this, I mean, what did that do for
You
you? I
know,
mean, how did you hear? How did they break that news to you?
you know, all I can say is I am, thank God, and I can proclaim this: the nine-time Hall of Famer, nine-time Hall of Famer from scratch, nine-time Hall of Famer. It's not everybody can say that,
Correct.
and it's a joy to every time you get a call. Maybe twice a year, I was inducted twice this past season,
Yes.
Fayetteville State University and a CIAA induction. And it's a joy to know that when it is all said and done, Sharon, is that you watch the dues that you look at. Every time I got that call about an award, especially the Wall of Fame, it took me back this little
Wow.
young girl in Trelawney who had
Yes.
nothing, who gets the opportunity to uplift her family and to get
Yes.
them to the next level and take them out of poverty and to come back and get that opportunity to write a scholarship. Someone wrote me a scholarship. I got that opportunity to write a scholarship to a youngster and to watch them to become policemen, to become nurses, to become
Yes.
doctors, to become educators. It's just such a joy. And I am so very happy and grateful for these because it helps me to know that I have paid that due.
You
And
have.
God has just poured out, favored me, and give me the, just give it back to me. It comes, I said to my student athletes, I said, I'm 53 years old and I'm still collecting.
Yes.
Why? Because I truly paid my dues and I paid my dues from the bottom of my heart. Every single duty, from being a student athlete to a coach and now an administrator for women's sports and just a leader overall, I have paid my dues and I keep doing it and will continue to do it from the bottom of my heart because it comes back.
Amen. Amen. And doctorate. I mean, what led you to pursue a doctorate?
Whew.
And I mean, the academic journey, I mean, that you've had. I mean, oh my goodness, what in the world? You've accomplished so much. I mean, why even bother? I mean, I mean,
I just
seriously, you've
I
done everything there is. A doctorate,
I just
doctor.
I
That
just
was
thought
the icing
about
on
it.
the cake,
I
huh?
just yes, yes. In COVID, I did not have much to do when it comes on to getting to see my athletes during the COVID years. And I thought about it and I always wanted to, from ever since I finished my undergrad, I wanted to do my master's in counseling. And I keep on maybe get back to professional athlete, go travel the world, and after that, getting married, getting my kids, and just going back to coaching. And I was so busy. But God knew then when it was time, COVID year, when I had nothing to do and I needed to occupy my brain. And
Wow.
I got started 2020. I went in and I did my master's in and I jumped straight and I'm like, wait a minute, this brain is clicking. And I said to myself, why not? I always preach to my athletes to be the best. I feel like the best is the best. God has given you that opportunity to not be average and to be the best. And I'm like, why not? Whoa, a doctoral degree would sound really nice and
It
help
does.
me to have the talk, but to show that it can be done. And
Yes.
I finished my doctoral degree 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago with a
Yes.
3.86 degree,
Yes.
GPA. Thank God.
Yes, 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 yes. We celebrate you, and as our one of our famous Jamaican, former Jamaican representatives here in our county, Donna McLeod would say, "Big up, big
Yes,
up, big up."
yes,
To
yes,
God be
yes.
all the glory. I mean, we are
Oh,
coming to a
man.
close, but I could just sit here and talk to you all evening long. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, that's her right there. I mean, she represents well. There was a recent, you know, activity. Oh, there we go. They're showing you off again. I'm telling you, listen, you have done it all. And there are children out there, there are young people out there, girls and boys, young ladies, young men who are saying, I can't afford it. I can't do it because I'm so
Mm,
unfortunate. And push yourself because you never stop pushing.
yes,
And
yes,
I'm no
yes.
stranger to your story, but some parts of it I kind of sort of didn't get until I started digging deeper. And there's a whole lot more to Dr. Turner. But what's
Oh, yeah,
next? You're 53 years young, for God's sakes. I
yes,
mean, is there
yes.
retirement in the future? What's your next look?
Oh,
What does that
what's
look like?
next, my, you know what? I'm just allowing God to use me.
Yes.
And, I know there's some burning desire in getting out, as you talk about You may think I don't have, and I'm not fortunate, but how do I start this? I want to get out there. I don't like traveling too much because I've traveled so much. But if I have to go dig deep in the young schools and the valleys and the terrains and everywhere I need to go, from elementary school straight up to the primary school, straight to colleges, to motivate what I do best, to let them know that you can do all things.
Yes, you can do all things. You can do it. The scripture says, I'm not sure where, I think it's Philippians, I think. You can do all things through Christ.
Philippians 4 verse 13.
4:13. That's
Yes.
it. Yes. You can do it. So going back to Jamaica, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot because we're just about out of time. But how can folks connect with you? I know they can research you, but are you on social media anywhere that people can look you up?
I am on Facebook at this point. I'm just on Facebook right now, and I
Okay.
can be reached on my website at Fayetteville State University. My number is on there. My email is on there, and you can get to me anytime.
Okay, so the last question again is, any plans to go back to Jamaica to start a mentoring program? Hint, hint, to do anything there? I mean, in Trelawney or in Veer, in Clarendon, or any part of Jamaica? I mean, has that thought kind of sort of, have you invited that thought at all? I mean,
Yes.
Have you played
Yes,
around with that thought?
I do. I do. And it's just to put it together. That's all there's to, just to put it together, get with some people, get to put it. I feel like I need to go all over the 14 parishes and
Yes,
schools and hey, this is one that was sitting right where you were sitting.
yes.
And here am I.
Wow. And so you've heard it, folks. The amazing Dr. Ines Turner, none other than Dr. Ines Turner. You're no different from the day I met you, young lady. I mean, you're humble. Keep it that way because, look, humility is what it's all about. And this is where,
Amen. The
right
humblest.
here, you speak harmony, and that's what we do right here. That's what we do on this podcast. We speak harmony. We thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Congratulations. Keep shining. Keep shining. Don't stop running because there are folks. Keep inspiring because there are folks watching you. You've inspired me.
Thank
You've been
you.
such an inspiration to me. I thank you so much. And I thank you again for joining us. Please subscribe, like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Speak Harmony at APAP Media. Thank you so much. Until next Tuesday, same time, same place. Thank you. God bless you.
Meetings of the mind where wisdom is shared. Tamara and Sharon, a duo prepared to light up the path, to bridge every gap. Access meets opportunity, there's no turning back. Forward with fortitude, the future's in sight. Together we rise like stars in the night. Authenticity reigns, love leads the way. We're speaking in harmony every single day. Speak harmony, let your voice intertwine. So let's move forward, ever bold and true. With Sharon and Tamara.